Background and context. Over the past decade, the video game industry has seen increased scrutiny regarding representation, diversity, and inclusivity in its storytelling and character design. This shift often aligns with broader societal discussions about social justice, equity, and representation in the media. However, this cultural movement has also brought polarizing debates about the balance between artistic freedom, ideological messaging, and market-driven entertainment. The phenomenon. Some video game companies have reportedly hired or promoted individuals with strong socialist or Marxist ideological leanings into creative or executive roles. These individuals may see video games not just as entertainment, but as a medium for ideological dissemination. Their approach has led to character redesigns, altering established characters to align with contemporary ideals, such as removing overt sexuality or emphasizing gender neutrality. Critics argue that these changes disregard the original artistic intent or fan expectations, alienating long-term audiences. Censorship of historical or cultural context, rewriting or embellishing narratives to align with current ideological perspectives, often at the expense of historical accuracy or narrative consistency. For instance, portraying specific groups in an idealized manner while painting others, particularly white characters, as symbols of oppression. Overt ideological messaging, embedding left-wing or socialist ideologies directly into gameplay or storytelling, sometimes at the cost of subtlety or entertainment value. This can manifest as characters delivering explicit political commentary or gameplay mechanics that mirror ideological principles, e.g., collectivism over individual achievement. Adversarial relationship with consumers. When met with criticism, some developers and executives dismiss dissenting voices as hateful or bigoted, labeling the pushback as an extension of broader societal prejudices. Rather than addressing consumer dissatisfaction, these companies appear to double down, framing their work as a moral crusade rather than a commercial product. Consumer backlash. The response from gamers has been swift and financially impactful. Declining sales. Frustrated by perceived ideological overreach, many gamers have boycotted games or entire franchises. Negative reviews and social media campaigns, platforms like Metacritic, Steam, and social media, have been flooded with critiques from gamers expressing dissatisfaction. Shift to alternatives. Some consumers have turned to indie games, retro gaming, or competing franchises that prioritize traditional storytelling and entertainment. Financial implications. The backlash has led to significant financial losses for some companies. When ideology takes precedence over consumer preferences, the disconnect between product and audience becomes unsustainable in a market-driven industry. However, despite declining revenues, some companies have persisted in their approach, seemingly prioritizing ideological goals over shareholder value. Why companies double down? Ideological commitment. Executives and creative leads may see their role as cultural stewards, aiming to educate or influence societal norms, rather than cater to existing market demands. Echo chambers. Insular work environments may reinforce the belief that dissenting opinions are outliers rather than widespread consumer sentiment. Alternative funding. Companies that receive substantial funding from investors, governments, or other sources not tied to direct sales may feel insulated from market consequences. Potential consequences. Erosion of brand loyalty. Long-standing franchises risk losing their core fan base, with alienated customers turning to competitors. Industry fragmentation. A divide may grow between companies prioritizing ideological messaging and those focusing on entertainment value and consumer satisfaction. Rise of consumer-centric alternatives. As major studios lose ground, smaller developers or indie studios could fill the void, offering games with fewer overt political messages. The broader debate. This phenomenon highlights a broader cultural and economic tension. The role of art and entertainment in shaping societal values versus reflecting consumer desires. While some argue that media has a moral responsibility to promote inclusivity and challenge societal norms, others contend that entertainment should primarily serve its audience's preferences, particularly in a capitalist market. Reveals a profound cultural and economic rift within the video game industry and its relationship with its audience. This dynamic goes beyond the games themselves, extending into the behavior and rhetoric of creators, the public backlash, and its broader societal implications. Escalation through public activism. Creators as activists. Some developers or executives have taken to social media to voice strong left-wing political views, aligning themselves with socialist or Marxist ideologies. While advocacy isn't inherently problematic, these individuals often use their platforms to excoriate anyone who disagrees with their perspectives, sometimes labeling dissenters as Nazis or bigots. This rhetoric becomes particularly inflammatory when directed at marginalized groups, such as Latinos or African Americans, who may hold conservative or religious viewpoints. Accusations of racism or internalized oppression alienate these communities, creating further cultural divides. Ideological gatekeeping. The dismissive attitude toward critics, often framed as moral or intellectual superiority, has created a perception that these creators prioritize ideological purity over constructive dialogue or artistic integrity. This fuels accusations of gatekeeping within the industry, where dissenting voices are silenced or marginalized. Toxic work and consumer environments. Public antagonism between creators and their audience has exacerbated tensions. Fans feel attacked for their personal beliefs, while some developers portray themselves as cultural warriors fighting against an oppressive fan base. This cycle of rhetoric and retaliation has created a toxic atmosphere both within the industry and in broader gaming communities. Consumer response, organized boycotts, consumer-led accountability. In response to what they see as ideological overreach, consumers have organized boycott groups to track and publicize games associated with specific creators or companies. These groups leverage social media, forums, and even websites to compile information about individuals and their work history, advising others to avoid their projects. This grassroots effort has successfully turned some games into immediate commercial failures, as the boycott signals deter large portions of the audience. Impact on commercial success. The mere association with polarizing creators has become a liability for some games, regardless of the quality of the product. Once consumers perceive a title as politically charged or ideologically biased, they often reject it outright, leading to poor sales and reputational damage. Economic and cultural fallout. Commercial failures. The financial impact of these dynamics is severe. Games that would otherwise have broad appeal face diminished sales, contributing to multi-million-dollar losses. Investors and stakeholders lose confidence in companies that seem out of touch with their market. The lack of financial accountability among some companies, due to ideological commitment or alternative funding sources, further frustrates consumers who expect businesses to prioritize their audience. Erosion of trust. Trust between creators and their audience has been severely damaged. Gamers increasingly view the industry as hostile to their values and preferences, leading to further disengagement. This erosion of trust isn't limited to the games themselves, but extends to the broader ecosystem of the industry, including media coverage and gaming events. Cultural divides. The conflict reflects broader societal divisions where entertainment becomes a battleground for ideological disputes. This polarization discourages compromise or dialogue, reinforcing an us versus them mentality on both sides. Challenges for the industry. Balancing artistic freedom and consumer expectations. Game developers must navigate the tension between creating meaningful, thought-provoking content and respecting the preferences of their audience. When ideological messaging overrides storytelling or gameplay, it risks alienating players who see themselves as paying customers rather than students in a political classroom. Corporate accountability. Companies face a critical decision, whether to continue supporting controversial creators and their messaging or to pivot toward consumer-centric strategies. The latter approach may involve reestablishing trust by emphasizing quality storytelling, diverse perspectives, and gameplay innovation over overt political commentary. Reputation management. Companies must also address the public behavior of their employees. While creators have the right to express their views, inflammatory rhetoric that alienates or attacks customers is detrimental to the brand. Establishing clear guidelines for professional conduct on social media could help mitigate these issues. Potential industry shifts. Rise of independent developers. As major studios face backlash, indie developers who prioritize gameplay and storytelling over ideological messaging may gain market share. These studios often engage directly with their audience, fostering a sense of community and trust. Market segmentation. The industry may increasingly segment into distinct markets catering to different ideological or cultural preferences. Some companies might double down on their political messaging, while others focus on apolitical entertainment. Return to consumer-centric development. Companies that recognize and respond to consumer demands are more likely to thrive. This may involve re-examining hiring practices, marketing strategies, and creative priorities to ensure alignment with audience expectations. Broader implications. This phenomenon isn't limited to the gaming industry. It reflects a wider societal debate about the role of media, the responsibilities of creators, and the balance between free expression and market accountability. While some view the ideological shift as a necessary evolution toward greater inclusivity, others see it as an imposition of values that disregards the diverse perspectives of the global gaming community. The path forward will likely require a recalibration of priorities, with companies striving to reconcile their ideological commitments with the practical realities of a competitive, consumer-driven market. Without this balance, the risk of further financial losses and cultural fragmentation will continue to grow.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.